Hello everybody. In this series, I will discuss topics on e-commerce. Let's take a look on the formal definition of e-commerce. E-commerce is the use of internet and the way to transact the business. More formally, digitally enabled commercial transaction between and among organizations and individuals is called e-commerce. E-commerce and e-business are the terms that are sometimes used interchangeably, sometimes they are used to differentiate one vendor's product from another. But the terms are different. In both cases, E stands for electronic networks and describes the application of electronic network technology, including internet and electronic data interchange, that is EDI, to improve and change business processes. E-commerce covers outward-facing processes that touch customers, suppliers, and external partners, including purchasing of raw materials, sales, marketing, order taking, delivery, after-sale services, supplies for production and procurement of indirect consumable items. It involves new business models and the potential to gain new revenue. It is relatively easy to implement because it involves only three types of integration. Number one, vertical integration of front-end website application to existing transaction systems. Number two, cross-business integration of a company with websites of customers, suppliers, or intermediaries such as web-based marketplaces. And number three, integration of technology with modestly redesigned processes of order handling, purchases, or customer services. Now, give a look on e-business. E-business includes e-commerce and also covers internal processes such as production, inventory management, product development, risk management, finance, knowledge management, and human resources. E-business strategy is more compared, more focused on internal processes and aimed at cost savings and improvements in efficiency, productivity, and cost savings. The e-business strategy. E-business strategy is more involving, require dedication to execute with four directions of integration. The number one, or we may say vertically between web front and back end systems, laterally between a company and its business partners, customers, suppliers, or intermediaries. Horizontally among e-commerce enterprise resource planning, ERP, customer relationship management, CRM, and supply chain management, SCM. And finally downward through the enterprise of integration of new technologies with radically designed business processes. But e-business has a high payoff, return, for more efficient processes, lower costs, and potentially greater profits. E-businesses and e-commerce both address these processes as well as a technology infrastructure of databases, application server, security tools, system management, and legacy system. Both involve the creation of new value chain between a company and its customers and suppliers, as well as within the company itself. Electronic networks in general and the internet in particular are too important for firms to ignore if they want to interact with customers, suppliers, or distribution partners. As we all know that coordination and organizational obstacles to develop e-business strategy are formidable. It involves major and potential disruptive Organizational changes. The risk of failure and the consequences from limited success are higher in an e-business strategy than an e-commerce strategy. Being a leader in e-business can contribute to long-term successes, but the stresses and strains of business transformation can cause near-term damages. The revolution. I mean, the beginning of e-commerce. In 1994, e-commerce, as we know, it did not exist. In 2003, businesses are expected to spend over $1 trillion purchasing goods and services from other businesses on the web. From a standing start in 1985, this type of commerce called e-commerce experienced growth rate of well over 100% a year, although the rate has slowed and it's now growing over 30% per year. These developments have created the first widespread digital electronic marketplaces. It is important to realize that the rapid growth and change that has occurred in the first 8 years of e-commerce represents just the beginning. What we could be called the first 30 seconds of e-commerce revolution. As expected, the 21st century will barely perceive at this time. It appears likely that e-commerce will eventually impact nearly all commerce, or that most commerce will be e-commerce by 2030. Now, why e-commerce? Prior to development of e-commerce, the processes of marketing and selling goods was a mass marketing and sales force driver processes. Consumers were considered to be trapped by geographical and social businesses, unable to search widely for the best practice of quality. Information about prices, cost, and fees could be hidden from the consumer, creating profitable information asymmetrics for the selling firms. E-commerce has challenged much of this traditional business thinking. So, there are 7 unique features, or we may 8, of e-commerce technology that both challenges traditional business thinking and explain why we have so much interest in e-commerce. So, these features are ubiquity. Ubiquity means available just about everywhere at all times. यूबिक्विटी को हम लोग हिंदी में सर्वज्ञ कहते हैं, जो सभी जगह है उपस्थित, दैट इज यूबिक्विटियस. ग्लोबल रिच एट ईच एंड एवरी कॉर्नर ऑफ हैबिटेशन. ऐसा नहीं है कि जब आप किसी सेटअप रूम में रहेंगे तभी आपको ई कॉमर्स एक्सेस होगा, बल्कि आप कहीं से भी, घर से, बरामदे से, मैदान से, हर जगह से, जहां भी आदमी लोग रहते हैं, हैबिटेशन है, वहां से यह एक्सेसिबल है. यूनिवर्सल स्टैंडर्ड. Standards that are shared by all nations around the world. Since it is global, that's why the universally accepted standards are adopted in this commerce. Richness. The complexity and content of a message means the versatility of the more and more explanation of the text makes it rich. Interactivity. Technology that allows for two-way communication between merchant and consumer. ऐसी बात नहीं है कि वन वे कम्युनिकेशन है, जो मर्चेंट दिखाएगा वही कंज्यूमर को देखना पड़ेगा. Rather, we requisition, and as per our requisition, the compliance are also appeared on before us. Information density. The total amount and quality of information available to all market participants. And personalization and customization. So, this 7-1 consists personalization and customization. Personalization, the Targeting of marketing messages to a specific individuals by adjusting the messages to a person's name, interest, and past purchases. Whereas customization changes or shapes the product or services based on users' preferences or prior behaviors. So, thus we saw that there are 7 unique features which became or making it more interesting and familiar. Now, types of e-commerce. There are variety of types of e-commerce and many different ways to characterize these types. For the most part, we distinguish different type of e-commerce by the nature of the market relationship, who is selling to whom. So, following are the types. Business to customer, in short we say B2C, the most commonly discussed type of e-commerce in which online business attempt to reach individual consumers in B2C. B2B, that is business to business, in which business focus on selling to other business is largest form of e-commerce. Next one is C2C, that is consumer to consumer. It provides a way for consumer to sell to each other with the help of an online market maker such as auction site like eBay. Peer to peer, P2P, in it use of peer to peer technology which enables internet users to share files and computer resources directly without having to go through the central web servers in e-commerce. And one more, that is mobile commerce, and in short we say m-commerce, which refers to the use of wireless digital devices to enable transactions on the web. Now, how e-commerce have grown? The technology behind e-commerce is internet and World Wide Web. The internet is a worldwide network of computer networks built on common standards. The internet links businesses, educational institutions, government agencies, and individuals together and provide users with services such as email, document transfer, new groups, shopping, research, instant messaging, music, videos, and news, etc. So, the growth has been classified as e-commerce 1 and e-commerce 2. The period in between 1995 to 2000 are termed as e-commerce 1, and afterwards, I mean from 2001, it is termed as e-commerce 2. Now, e-commerce 1. For computer scientists and information technologists, e-commerce 1 was a powerful vindication of a set of information technologies that had developed over a period of 40 years, extending from the development of the early internet to the PC to local area networks. For economists, e-commerce raised the realistic prospect of a perfect, better markets where price, cost, and quality information is equally distributed. A nearly infinite set of suppliers compete against one another, and customers have access to all relevant market information worldwide. For merchants, the cost of searching customers would also fall, reducing the need for wasteful advertising. For real world entrepreneurs, there are financiers and market professionals in e-commerce 1 period had the idea of friction-free commerce, which was far from their own visions. Thus, the e-commerce 1 period was driven largely by vision of profiting from new technology with emphasis on quickly achieving very high market visibility. Now come to the e-commerce 2 phase. The simple change from 1999 to 2000 was believed to be a major threat to corporate systems. Once these systems were rebuilt, this information technology capital expenditure declined, sending the earning forecast of technology companies. In early 2000, it became clear that the telecommunication industry had built access capacity in high-speed fiber optic networks. In 1999, e-commerce Christmas seasons provided less sales growth than anticipated, and more important, demonstrated that e-commerce was not easy. Perhaps more important, the valuation of .com and technology companies had arisen to high that even supporters were questioning whether earning of these companies would grow fast enough to justify the prices of shares. So, in this session, these all, and for more, we are meeting with a new video in our second session. Till that, thank you and goodbye.